Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Wave. 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 Good morning, morning, morning. Please don't ask why I'm semi-transparent. I don't know. Apparently this model has more green tones than I thought it did, because when I went to do the keying out the green screen background, it took some of my model with it. I had no idea my model had so many green tones in it. You learn something new every day. Oh, well, welcome, Ghost. Hope you enjoy your time here. Hey, Emma. Hey, Chavez. Hey, Huntsman. Hey, Keyshawn. Hey, Anime Kitty. I'm doing alright. Finally awake. Took me a bit to wake up this morning. And don't worry about wishing me a happy 5-year anniversary yet. It's not until, I think, Sunday. I believe it's the 16th is the anniversary of my first upload in terms of an ASMR. It's not the first thing I ever uploaded on this channel. I used to use this channel as just like a dumping ground for stuff I would share on forums and my blog and stuff, but in terms of this being like a public access channel with content, the anniversary is like Sunday. I have not seen that trailer. I don't watch a lot of big production media, actually. And I'm not saying that to be pretentious or anything. It's a time issue, really. During the day, if the TV's on, it has to be on something little kid friendly, because I don't want to scar my children for life or anything. And then by the time my kids go to bed and are settled and are like either asleep or almost asleep, I'm tired as crap. So my nights usually involve me putting on a podcast and listening to that until I fall asleep. Oh, everybody can get a hug. Here. Hugs. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Big hugs for everybody. Dar, dar. Dar, dar. Hello, I'm doing alright, My favorite horror movie slasher is probably Michael Myers. And it's only because I really like the score for the Halloween movies. I'm not too keen on slasher films. I used to watch them a little bit when I was in high school because like everybody was. It was like a thing. But I never really got into them. I don't like blood. That's my big thing. I don't like blood. Oh, it's late for you, my friend. It's bright and early in the morning for me. Is the sun up? Sun is almost completely up. I can never really tell what the sun's doing from this room because I have blackout curtains up. I have to like see what's peeking over the curtains, if there's light or not. Aw, y'all are sweet. Y'all are sweethearts. I love all of you. I love all of my viewers and listeners. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm glad people are finding my uploads on the other big video sharing site that's not for people under 18. Morning, Jay. How are you doing? So I came up with a pretty dope idea to celebrate the 5-year anniversary. I'm gonna recreate my first ever audio, which was Scarlet, but I'm doing it live in a stream with a VTuber model. The model's not done yet, so that's why instead of streaming on the actual day of the anniversary, which I believe is Sunday the 16th, it's gonna be like Monday the 17th, because I think that's when the guy said the model's gonna be ready. Everything else ready for it, but the model is like still being a work in progress. Sorry if you see my hands moving around a lot. I'm a bit of a fidgety person, especially when I'm talking. I don't exactly talk with my hands all the time. Like, my mom does that, and it kind of drives me crazy. But I get kind of fidgety, where like my hands have to like be moving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all are sweethearts, like for real. Like, whenever I have a bad day, I need to remind myself I just need to like read my comments or hop on a stream. Because while I do get a fair amount of like negative Nancy's and hate comments and spammers, whether it's a comment on content I post or a chatter in a stream, all the good people just weigh out all the nastiness and stupidity. But I do have to say, the platform where I think the most amount of people with no life and just want to hate for the sake of hating is TikTok. Because all you have to do is just make a little TikTok just saying like, hello, and waving. And you'll get like a dozen comments of people just like saying the nastiest things they can think of to say about you. I am going to argue that TikTok is like YouTube now. It's kind of become an everybody app. And considering it gets as many users, if not more, than a lot of other mainstream platforms, it's really a great tool for promoting your content. Whether you're a creator on YouTube or a streamer or anything else, if you are a creator, just posting little things on TikTok is great promotion, because then people who are interested are going to get curious and they're going to seek you out on other platforms. people. Hello. I don't know if you're new or not, because people change their usernames all the time. But hello, I don't recognize your username. Hello, Craig, and thank you. We're doing all right, biggest news right now, aside from the channel anniversary, is I'm moving. I got the keys to the new place yesterday, and this weekend we're gonna do a proper walkthrough of the place, mark down things that need maintenance or are already like damaged upon move-in, so we can send that to the landlord. So when we move out, things that don't get fixed by the landlord and, you know, just stay as they are, we don't get penalties for when we move out. So gotta do that. And we're taking measurements of the rooms to figure out what furniture will fit. It's not a very big house. It's not very big. The rooms, especially the bedrooms, are tiny. But it's in our budget, so we're going with it. The house is nice. It's not quite like dream house, but it's certainly going to be an improvement to our current situation. And the guy is coming to install our new internet connection tomorrow. And the company that deals the internet to that neighborhood says the tier I got is faster than where I'm currently living. But I don't know if that only applies to a wired connection or if that applies to Wi-Fi and everything as a whole. Because I know Wi-Fi routers and stuff and the signal has its limitations in terms of how fast things can be, as opposed to a straight up wired connection. Hello, Painkiller and Baisley. Oh yeah, we don't plan on staying in this place, this new house, forever. It's kind of an in-between thing. And we opted to rent instead of buy because being in the military, my spouse's everything is up in the air. And it's easier to end a lease and, you know, talk to a landlord about a situation than it is to have to put a house on the market overnight. In case like something happens, and let's say like the military tells him he has to move base, and we have to go to like near the Pentagon for him to do his work. That's a big move, and it's easier to tell the landlord, hey, we got to move to be near the Pentagon. We got to break the lease. Can you work with us? Than to be like, well, shit, now we have to sell our house. Baby's doing good. Baby's doing pretty good. Last check, doctor says everything's looking healthy, looking normal, measuring on time. So all I can really hope for is that everything goes well. This pregnancy's been rougher on me. Not as rough as my previous one, but rougher than my first one. So it's kind of like an in-between thing. The biggest issue I'm having is I'm finding myself getting a lot more tired than I anticipated. Even just doing nothing, I get tired. We have to move because our current place of living doesn't belong to us. Where we are this our current living situation was never supposed to be permanent. It's supposed to be temporary while we got our, toes in the water and our feet on the ground, basically. And and as such, the people who own the house we live in are selling it early next year. So regardless, we'd have to be out by the time the baby's born anyway. Naive basically means ignorant, but not in a malicious way. Another thing I've been dealing with is I'm on a new medication for ADHD because what I was normally taking, something happened with the companies that make it. There's like a backlog or something, and the pharmacies where I live can't get any of it. They said for probably another few months. They just can't. They can't get any. They just can't get the medicine. So I had to talk to my doctor about something in the same family of medicines as it, so I don't go through as like a major withdrawal. Because withdrawal could be really damaging to the baby. I would say being naive is like it can be good for the person who is naive, but it can be really upsetting for people around them sometimes. I'm doing all right. Baby's doing all right. We're all really stressed out over the move. I have some concerns involving how bills are going to get paid. Not that we don't have the money. That's not the issue. The money's going to be there. But in terms of just like the person whose everything is in his name getting off his bum to take care of things in a timely manner. No, you're welcome, Josh, and thank you. Oh, what food can I cook? I can cook most things. I've been told I make pretty good beef dishes. I can cook chicken okay. Uh, I know how to season vegetables so they don't taste like butt. That's something that took my mother forever to learn. That vegetables can have seasoning. I'm not too great at baking unless it's like an exact science recipe or it comes from a box. If a baking thing tells you leave anything up to your imagination, I suck at it and it comes out tasting weird. My current thing with cooking is I'm trying to get over my fear of pans on the stove. I know it sounds incredibly silly, but I was cooking with a pan when I was in high school, and it was a recipe that involved putting some oil in the pan to cook the food on. Well, the oil started like getting jumpy, and a little bit got on my arm, which burned it, and I panicked, and I had my hand holding the pan, and I lifted the pan up suddenly because I was freaking out, and all the oil splashed onto my leg. And I still have to this day a light burn mark on my leg from splashing the oil on it. It's faded now because was like 15, 16 years ago. And I covered it with a tattoo. But you can still see, like, surrounding the tattoo, like, the skin is clearly a different color than the rest of my skin. Mac and cheese is alright. I prefer homemade, though, over, like, box craft stuff. I just feel like I have more control when I'm cooking in the oven or using a full-bodied pot on the stove than, like, things that can jump around on a pan. Another thing we're working on is my 8-year-old is a very, very, very picky eater. I don't know how it happened, because when she was little, she ate nearly everything. And then one day decided she hated most food and would not touch anything unless it's very specific little things that she accepts. And it's like a nightmare getting her to eat anything else. But I'm worried that little Fox is going to see her sister getting different food for dinner and then is going to want something different for herself. And then that habit's going to pass on to the next baby. And I really don't want to cook like 4 or 5 different meals for different people. That's just going to like get really annoying really fast, and I'm just going to like lose my shit. So I've been working with the 8-year-old, getting her to try other foods and eating them. And accepting the fact that you're not always going to love what meal you're eating. Thank you for the congratulations on 5 years. Right now, she will only eat either chicken nuggets or chicken strips, depending on the breading. She'll eat turkey if it's sliced deli turkey, and she can dip it in ketchup. And she'll eat French fries, only certain kinds of French fries, again, if she can dip it in ketchup. And then she'll eat pasta if it's with red sauce and has a meatball. She gets very upset if pasta is served by itself and there's no meatballs. And she'll eat like stir-fried chicken, but only if you serve it with noodles and you don't put vegetables in it. If she sees one vegetable in her stir-fry dish, she won't touch it. And she'll eat Lunchables for her lunch, but she won't eat the crackers, which kind of defeats the purpose of making their little sandwiches. And she'll eat a turkey sandwich, but only turkey and only wheat bread. No condiments. No cheese, no nothing, just turkey and bread. And she'll sometimes eat apples, depending on the apple. She gets really picky with apples, but will eat bananas. I don't want to be the kind of parent that says, like, eat this or go hungry, especially now that it's 2022. And if she were to say that to a friend at school that I do that, or to a teacher, I very well could get cited for child abuse. Because it's 2022 and nearly anything that isn't, like, very delicate parenting is abusive. Oh, I don't have to worry about ever taking that bird with me because the bird is very bonded to my stepdad. And he'd be very sad if he didn't have that bird. Though he is thinking about rehoming her to either a sanctuary or a breeder. Because she's showing disinterest in people altogether. Like, she's decided she hates people. So she might be happier in a position where she can be around other birds. This poor bird is like either incredibly stupid or incredibly stubborn or both because my mom and stepdad were away for a few days to go to a wedding and I was trying to take care of this stupid bird and I could not feed her and I could not change her water because going into her enclosure just to put food in her bowl, she would lash out and sink her beak into my arm and draw blood. And then going to change out her water dish, same thing. She would try to rip skin off my arm. I could not do that after like 2 days. I just couldn't do it anymore. I need my arm skin. See, the bird could not survive on her own because she can't fly. She can kind of fly, but she hurt her wing when she was a couple years old, flying into a screen door. Ever since she did that, she has not been able to fly that well. So she would not be able to evade any predators or anything. So it'd be incredibly negligent to just like take her down to Florida and let her fly into the wilderness. And no, we're not going to cook the bird. For one thing, that's mean. And for another, parrots are not food. They're not like chicken. They're all very gamey and not very nutritious. The funny difference between my kids right now is my 8-year-old barely eats anything. Little fox, you put food in front of her, 9 times out of 10, it disappears in her face. Sometimes she's a little picky. She's actually picky about meats. Like sometimes she'll like, I'll put like, a piece of hamburger in front of her, or a piece of chicken. Sometimes she'll eat it, like no problem. The other day she just looks at me like, no. But give her vegetables. And vegetables all go into the fox. She loves broccoli and carrots and spinach. She also loves pasta. I've hit a point now where I feed my kids what they're willing to eat. But when I don't have my mother to take turns cooking with, to ease some of the burden, I'm gonna hit a point where I'm just like, I'm cooking this, you're eating it, or like, deal with it. Yeah, my husband's also gonna have to learn portion control, because if you let him pile his own plate, he will eat like two people's worth of food in one meal, and that's just not very cost effective. It's also not very good for his waistline, which he has to keep in check to stay in the military, which he's been learning the hard way every few months. Don't know why he doesn't just learn this once and stick with it. But, like, right now, he's on a crash diet and is going to the gym for like 2 to 3 hours several days a week. Because he has to hit a certain weight threshold. So when they weigh him next weekend at his drill, he doesn't get negative marks for it. Because that could cost him his promotion and that could cost him his career. My husband can nuke things in a microwave and do some basic things with a pot on a stove. But apparently no one ever taught him how to cook. Like, cook properly. When he was deployed, he lived off of ready meals he got at the commissary and from food trucks and stuff. Good morning. Good morning, everybody joining. Well, my husband ideally in the civilian world wants to be a cop. Like, ideally he wants to be a police officer, and I have yet to fully comprehend why he wants to be a police officer so bad. But he wants to be one. But if that's just not in the cards ever, he has a lot of experience working security and working as a mechanic. Not for cars, but for machinery, as a machinery mechanic. He did pursue, at one point, being a firefighter, but in our area, firefighter jobs are so limited that he was like one applicant out of like a couple hundred for the several hiring periods he applied for. It just was not like good metrics for him getting the job. Because my argument for being pro firefighter is like, why do you want to be a cop? People hate cops. Cops are, it's a very sticky job to have, especially now. No one hates a firefighter. Why? How could you hate a firefighter? All they do is fight fires. And few things are more evil than a fire. Hello, thank you, thank you. By Chi-Town, you mean Chicago? Funny enough, I have family in Chicago now. Didn't before, but my uncle just got a house just outside of Chicago, and uh, his daughter and her new husband are moving to Chicago. My cousin. You can go play games like for real. I'm not one of those streamers who gets offended when people just sit around for a few minutes, hear what I gotta say, and then want to move on to other things. Because I'm like that. I very rarely can sit through a live stream when it's live. Unless I'm really wrapped up in doing something else with my hands. Like, I'm writing or working on like some admin stuff with my emails and whatnot. Or I have something else going on. Otherwise, I kind of like, I watch VODs. I like where I can skip around and pause and everything. I will say, aside from special occasions, I'm not streaming on YouTube as much as I was earlier this summer. I've mostly moved back to Twitch. I know Twitch has its issues like currently, and people aren't happy with Twitch entirely. But the things that are hurting Twitch don't affect me because I'm not that big a streamer. I'm also monetized on Twitch, which I'm not on YouTube. Hankun and James, what's that? Yeah, the changes to Twitch really affect the people who make a metric fuck ton of money. Thank you, Ian White. Thank you. One thing I've learned about life is you can make all the plans you want for how things should be, and life will just turn around and just throw something in your face. And things not go exactly how you planned or wanted things to be. Oh, anything owned by Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, except maybe WhatsApp, people are just starting to drop. Instagram made a bunch of changes that the core users don't like, so they're migrating to other platforms. And Facebook now is just like boomer swamp. I don't know anybody under the age of like 30 who touches Facebook aside from maybe like pages where they like specific content on. I still have friends who treat their Facebooks like personal diaries. And in my head, I'm just like, do you really want all this information on the internet? I know you say your profile is set to just certain people, but stuff can still get out there. Because all I do on Facebook, aside from like reading what my friends and family are saying, is I just share memes. I just share memes and pictures of whales. I do that too. Tumblr actually is allowing not safe for content again. Interesting. I might actually go back to updating my old blog then, because I have a blog website that was built using the Tumblr platform. That as soon as they issued that ban on adult content, I stopped posting on there because that blog was all about working in the adult industry. So it's kind of hard to post about working in the adult sex industry without mentioning adult work. The thing with Instagram that people are really not liking is their push right now for video content. They want it to be more like TikTok. So just regular picture posts don't get as much traction as they used to. And that's what's really been pissing off the core user base. That like a picture post that used to get like, a bunch of views and like 1,000 likes now is only seen by a handful of people because they're pushing the video stuff. You're kind of lucky, Alexi, because you seem to live in a country that doesn't want you to die for being unemployed. I stopped being able to work the mainstream job field when my bipolar got so bad, even with therapy and medication, that I called out more than any job would allow a person to. Because I have bouts where I have no energy and can barely get out of bed and barely just do things for myself. Where it feels like I ran a marathon just like cooking and taking a shower, let alone leaving the house at all. It doesn't seem that way because I'm able to like consistently post content and stuff. But again, this is all stuff I'm doing from home that doesn't require commuting, talking to strange people I may or may not like regularly, dealing with an uppity boss. It's like I've had several uppity bosses. So that's very draining, especially on a person with mental health issues. If you want a perfect example of how debilitating my bipolar is, I went off my meds when I found out I was pregnant with little Fox. And within a month of going off the meds, I shut down. I stopped going online. I stopped talking to people. I rarely left the house. I became a hermit. Because I was so low energy and so anxious and so just consumed with intrusive thoughts that I could not do anything except eat, sleep, bathe, and make sure my 8-year-old wasn't gonna, well, who was 6 at the time, wasn't gonna die. Well, it sounds like the 8-year-old is waking up. Probably gonna play in her room for a bit. It's usually what she does when she gets up and doesn't have school. There's no school for my 8-year-old until Tuesday because the teachers are doing their special meetings and stuff, and they close the school for that. So, having the 8-year-olds go to my in-laws for the weekend, so she'll have a chance of doing something fun while we work on moving. Did you like a painkiller? These are like conference meetings. So it's like back to back, teachers doing conferences, teachers doing training exercises, things like that. And I think they're also rehearsing the active shooter drill, which they don't want to do with students in the buildings. They don't want to scare the little kids. And I know, sign of the times. Here in America, we have active shooter drills in our schools. It's ridiculously heartbreaking. I moved around a few times with my 8-year-old when she was little, but since about the age of like 3, she's lived in the same place. So she doesn't remember moving much at all. She doesn't remember my old housemates. She doesn't remember where we lived when she was a baby. None of that. Well, my 8-year-old is staying with my parents until the new year because we want her to finish her semester at school before changing schools. Because that just keeps it fair to her, so she finishes what she's learning now, and it's fair to the teachers. Or else, if we had her switch schools now, she'd be playing like massive amounts of catch up at her new school. They wouldn't know what to do with her for a while, and she'd fall behind. Oh, Chavez, you'll never get America to do that. Never. Because the gun rights are our Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Gun rights are higher up than some human rights. Something I actually explored in a film script I was writing is why it seems like all these deadly shootings are conducted by guys and not women. So it was something I was exploring and talking to people in psychology, people in gender studies, uh, people who've been studying the habits and activities of weapons owners, because there are people who like that's their field of study. Anyone want a head pat? Okay, head pat, head pat, head pat. Yeah, I gotta agree with Nathan. One thing about Americans is that no one wants to hear this, but Americans, just as a country and culture of people, are incredibly entitled, rich or poor. Under the guise of freedoms, Americans think they deserve the world, basically, in one way or another. I think what kind of saved me from that full on entitled American mindset was that I spent a lot of time in Israel, which is a country that is actually under constant threat by other entities year round. Doesn't matter like when you're there. You live with that knowledge that any day someone could get the bright idea to just drop a nuke on you. And it's way more likely that happening to a country like Israel than America. So living in Israel, you kind of learn fuck your personal freedoms, take care of your neighbor pretty damn fast. When I was about 4, there was a suicide bombing at the metro station not far from where my grandparents lived. We didn't see it, but we heard it. I still sometimes hear that bomb go off in my sleep. Oh, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hello, Austin. I really wish that I had a camera when I was in philosophy class back in college, because my philosophy professor had this really profound lecture about what triggers violent tendencies in people based on the beliefs of many different philosophers. But this was 2008, and like no one at the time had an iPhone. So you couldn't just whip something out and record. But he like spent the entire class just citing different philosophers and showing slides and just recalling things from history, and it was very interesting. No, there is a moth flying around my face, and it keeps getting in my face, and it won't go away. It needs to die, but I can't get it to land, to smush it. I'm gonna go grab me some cookies. Feels like cookie o'clock. Y'all ever have cookie o'clock? I think everybody should have cookie o'clock once in a while. No one in my family likes bugs. No one. Y'all ask the weirdest questions in terms of what ASMRs I would do. Very weird. I love chocolate chip cookies. A little too much. I've not had vanilla yogurt raisin cookies. That sounds good. Because I like yogurt covered raisins. Raisin cookies are good. Macadamia cookies are good. Catch you later, Marty. Anakin Skywalker the Simp, you mean like all of Star Wars? So many movies are coming out, and I can like never go to a theater. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Nope, and that was an ordeal. I regret seeing that movie. It scared me more than I thought it would. You also have very specific tropes in media, and I'm not always familiar with them. I have no desire to see Black Adam. I am very tired of superhero movies. Like, I'm over them. I saw Thor, because I just like Thor. I think he's amusing. But general superhero movies, I'm just so bored with. This is probably TMI, but something in my office smells like cat. I really hope no one let a cat in here when I wasn't around and the cat did something. But something smells like cat. Watch, when I pack this room up to move everything, I'm gonna find a cat mess and I'm gonna be really pissed off. Have I seen Prey? No, I have not. My husband knows like nothing about Thor, and I took him to Love and Thunder. Like, I begged him, I'm like, I have to see this movie, honey. I have to see Thor. I love Thor. And he knows nothing about Thor. Oh, bird's awake. Oh god, all the hype for Baby Yoda made me never want to touch the Mandalorian. Because people just went too far trying to express how cute it is. And I'm like, it's not that cute, people. It's not that cute. I heard Walk Like an Egyptian probably as a kid at like parties. Record of Ragnarok? No, I do not. You do not want to pat this bird's head, it will bite you. I could do a react stream to stuff like that. I have to plan it out because my next Twitch stream, which was supposed to be yesterday, but getting the keys and stuff went way longer than I thought it would, and by the time I got home, I was just too worn out. So I'm doing it tonight. And tonight, we're gonna watch and review Repo the Genetic Opera and talk about it. And then I'm going to continue Sakura Succubus 2. Because I'm getting really into the series, like way more than I should, but I'm invested now. I want to know what happens. I want to know how many succubi there are. There's 6 games. We're only on the second one. And there's already like 5 succubi. I want to know how many others there are. Catch you later, Austin. The camera capture program does not know what to do when I'm just sitting with my hands flat down. It just has a conniption. Next week is going to be a pretty intensive stream week because if the model's done on Monday, I'm going to be streaming a Scarlet on here on Monday. And then Tuesday is ASMR on Twitch. And Thursday, I know I want to play more Sakura Succubus. And I'm debating if I want to screen another movie or just play Sakura Succubus and maybe try a horror game. After my in-laws pick up my 8-year-old today to take him for grandparent time, I'm going out to shop for appliances. Because our house does not come with a fridge, and does not come with washer and dryer. So I need to either buy or rent those. Because we actually can't live in our new house until we at least have a fridge in it. The washer and dryer with having kids is kind of a necessity too. I need to adjust in this chair. Ow. As I knocked everything over. Settle that microphone. All I did was adjust the chair. Calm down. Thank you, Flyboy. How do you roleplay as a Genshin Impact character? Do the characters actually do anything in the game? Because I thought the game was just like do stuff and collect things. I like the art in Genshin Impact, but that's all I like. Like, it has cool character designs, but I don't have the mental capacity to get into any more lore of anything. And it looks like it has a lot of lore. Oh, the bird is definitely awake. Thank you, thank you. Man, I suck at Overwatch. Tried playing the first game, sucked at it, gave up. Okay, I have a lot of animals in this house. They're not all going with me when I move, but there's a lot of animals. I don't want to face any dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are scary. Don't rely on me to be a healer, because I will drop the ball and everybody will die. But what if the nice dinosaurs got like rabies? Then they would kill everything. You can't tell me they can't get like something like rabies. I bet that existed back then. I have one cat that if you rub his tummy for more than like a second, he'll nip at you. But none of them sit like humans. They're too fat. I'm learning so many things today. I used to have sea monkeys as a kid. They did not last long. Thank you, Ichigo. I'm trying to get this moth out of my face. It's very stubborn. Very stubborn. It keeps trying to land on my glasses. I vaguely remember when they discovered new dinosaurs. Very vaguely. Let's see. Oh, hang on. Baby monitor's going off. What's going on? Oh dear. Looks like we have an awake little fox. She's rolling around and kicking. Oh, she's definitely awake. She just sat up and threw her big bird out of the crib. She's probably gonna start fussing in like a minute. Y'all rehashing old memes. Little Fox is doing great. She's doing great. But she's awake now. I was hoping she'd sleep longer because she went to bed late. No such luck. Ah yes, unfortunately, now that Little Fox is awake, I have to bid y'all adieu. I have to say bye-bye for now because I can't let Little Fox wake up my husband. He needs his sleep. He got in at like 3 in the morning. So he needs to sleep. I will be on Twitch this evening. See the video description for my Twitch link. I'll be on Twitch this evening for a movie review and playing a visual novel. So if you want to hang out with me more, I'll be on in like 10 hours. So don't wait that long. But I do have to go be a parent now. Gotta go be responsible. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Mwah. Love you all. Stay awesome.